There's so much theft going on because people are becoming more and more desperate. Even with me on Facebook, for example, Facebook had to recently verify me on Facebook because I had so many different accounts that were coming up saying this is Mpho Dagada that are not true. So now if you look on Facebook, my account specifically has a tick next to it. So okay, this is the real Mpho Dagada and not just any other person. So if you were following any account without a blue tick, please do unfollow it. It is not me. And for those that have received funny messages asking for somebody who wants to give you money for trading or whatever the case is, it is not me. I do not take anybody's money for any of those sort of things. So always make sure on Facebook you're speaking to the person with a blue tick if we are friends on Facebook. But let's continue. Not only are we protected from theft, we also have the enterprise solution. Remember what I said to you, that big companies were saying, how do we plug into these systems? We as Amazon, we as Facebook, how do we plug into these systems? We now have an enterprise solution. High security payments with multi-sig transactions. Example, treasury departments may conduct transactions where a CEO may confirm from a different device. So what does this mean? As we all know, in Dubai, they've got a minister of blockchain. So the minister of blockchain in Dubai can plug into this very simply and confirm these payments from a government perspective. What this means is that now people can pay their water and lights using Bitcoin Vault. People can put in better systems into Bitcoin Vault. People can pay their tickets. People can pay for movies. People can pay within this enterprise solution. So it allows for different apps to plug in. What does this mean? It means that we now have an even more advanced Bitcoin. Now, if you remember very, very well, the reason why we all joined Bitcoin is because we wanted a better way of doing transactions, a more technological way. Now we have an even more advanced way. We have an even better way. It's only about, and hear me well, it's only about time. As more and more people realize about Bitcoin Vault, more and more people will take their money from Bitcoin and move it towards Bitcoin Vault. Why? Because people always gravitate toward better solutions. You can never stop it. People always gravitate towards better solutions. When Uber first started all around the world, there were different taxi associations, even here in South Africa, even in London. There are taxi associations saying that people will never gravitate towards this because this is very unstructured. Any driver just comes on board, etc., etc. But what did we see around the world? We saw people gravitate towards it. Why? Because it proved to be a better solution. It proved to make people's lives more convenient. It proved to allow people to plug and play from different places. Think about it properly. The reason Uber, the reason Facebook, the reason Amazon, the reason Airbnb became very, very big in a very short space of time is because they had a solution for enterprises, for companies to come on board and plug in and play. Here we have Bitcoin Vault giving that solution to big companies to come in and play. And there's a little secret that I want to tell you about today. And this secret is the secret that's going to make all the difference. It's going to make all the difference. But let's continue. We have here long-term storer of value. Somebody once said to me the other day, they said to me, Mpho, when I invest, I'm investing for my children. And I said to them, why? And they said to me, well, I've lived my life, And this is when I was saying to them, they were asking me, they were saying, Mpho, when you invest, what is it that you look forward to? And I said to me, when I invest, I'm a holiday person. If you look at me, cars are great, but I don't really drive myself. Wherever I go, I'm usually driven. So I never really get to experience the car. So I'll never really say I'm more of a car person. So I'm not really about a car person. I'm more about a traveling person. Put me in first class and let's go to the Bahamas, let's go to Hawaii, let's go to New York, one of my favorite cities in the world. Put me there and let's travel. That's one thing that I love to do, When it comes to travel, I don't even look at the budget. I'll say, even if the flight is 200,000, I'll pay it because I understand that that's what gives me joy. That's what makes me happy, So even when I was explaining to them and I said, even for traveling, they said to me, no, I'm not interested in traveling. I'm interested in investing for my children. And I said to them, wow, maybe when I get to that age, I'll become like that and I'll think of that. But at the moment, when I do think about having fun, etc., for me, it's different, But they said to me, for them, having fun is investing for their children. Now with Bitcoin Vault, you have that solution. Long-term storer of value. An ultimate electronic store of value. a better form of gold with the aim of holding one's life savings with complete peace of mind. For the first time ever, we have a cryptocurrency that allows you to put your lifetime saving and have peace of mind. Be guaranteed that no hacker, no nothing, no changing of system will ever take that money away. You can store this for life and even prepare it for your children's children, for generations to come. You know, the Bible says a wise man invests or makes enough money for their children's children. So if you're Christian and you're on this session, if you're not making money for your children's children, you are not a wise man. You need to be making money for your children's children. It's not me. I learned this from the Bible. It says a wise man inherits or makes money or invests for their children's children. So I've always asked myself, that means that if you're not making money for your children's children, that means you are not. I'll allow you to finish that sentence. But this is the beauty of it. That one can, I mean, when I read this, when I was doing research on this, I love this because I've had so many old people say to me, can I invest my lifetime saving into this thing? Can I put in enough money and know that nothing will happen to it? Let's read that line again so we all have it. An ultimate electronic store of value. A better form of gold with the aim of holding one's life savings with complete peace of mind. Not even half peace of mind, complete peace of mind. Can you imagine? Now let's go to something that's very, very exciting. These are some of the exchanges that you can find Bitcoin. And by the way, this information is not a secret. You can all find it. It's all available on the Bitcoin Vault website. I believe they'll type it. If you can just get some leaders just to type it there in the chat box, you can all look at it there. I also want you to look at something very special. I want you to look at the roadmap. Where are we today? Let's look at the roadmap, right? In the fourth quarter in 2019, it was the launch of Bitcoin Vault. Obviously, not a lot of people knew about this because when you launch something and you're doing it big, you need to test it, make sure it works, make sure people have tried and tested it, make sure hackers have tried to hack it. You need to do it properly. So it was actually launched in 2019, but nobody really knew about it. In the first quarter of 2020, a wallet integration was available on Google Play, Windows, and Linux. This is when people were then able to store it on a wallet. You know, they were then able to store it on their own digital wallets that exist. In quarter 2 of 2020, that was when Bitcoin Vault was launched on various exchanges. Now, Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was launched, what happened when it was launched? A lot of people don't know this. Bitcoin was launched in 2008. That's when it came out. But it only boomed around 2013, 2012, 2014. That's when it only boomed. Why? People were still researching it. The idea was still new. Some were uncomfortable. Some were not very happy about certain things. What do we know about something that launches and from the beginning, its trajectory has been upward only? That's Bitcoin Vault. From the time it has launched till date, it's been going up higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. I almost said, I made a joke the other day. I said, from now on, I don't want to be called Mr. Bitcoin. I want to be called Mr. Bitcoin Vault. Because Mr. Bitcoin Vault continues to be going higher and higher and higher. And it's a much better solution that we have. So it was only launched in the second quarter of 2020. I want to show you the graph of where Bitcoin Vault has been going. And where do we get this graph? If you want to have a look, it's at www.coinmarketcap.com. CoinMarketCap. You know, I made sure a lot of people, whenever you show them slides, they always say, where can I get those slides? Where did you get those slides? I said, today I'm not going to prepare slides. I'm actually going to show people so that they can do this themselves. Because I know many of you guys are building this business and you're going to be showing more people this opportunity. So I wanted to show you the raw information of where I get this information. CoinMarketCap.com. If you look at it here at the bottom, we have a graph that shows us what's been going on with Bitcoin Vault. We're going to be looking at the green line only, which represents the price. Look at the green line. Look at the green line. Look at where it's been going throughout this whole time. It's been only going up, only going up. The more people know about it, the more people want to invest in it. I mean, you would expect something to launch and have a little bit of a dip, or to have something going bad. It's the beginning stages. People are still not. From the day it launched into the public till date, it's only known up. It's only been going up. And that's the beauty of it. Why? Because the more people hear about it, the more people say, yes, this makes sense. Yes, we've been waiting for this solution. So many people have been waiting for Bitcoin to become safer. So many people. People have been saying, I want to store Bitcoin I want to store my life savings into Bitcoin, but I'm afraid because I've read articles about it being hacked. I've read this. I'm waiting for something that's going to be like Bitcoin, but safer. It's arrived. The moment people hear about it, they're in. The moment anyone hears about Bitcoin Vault, they're in. I was saying to somebody, I said, the worst thing you can do about today is not tell somebody about Bitcoin Vault. Because the way that it is performing has shocked and amazed. During coronavirus, when everything is crashing, when stock brokers who invest in the JSE, who invest pension funds are complaining, saying we're losing people's money, we don't know what we're going to do, Bitcoin Vault has been soaring higher and higher and higher and higher. Let's go back to something that I find very, very exciting. And I'm just going to be managing our time here so that we don't go over time. So where are we in terms of the Bitcoin Vault? We are only in the beginning. We are only in the beginning. Do you know, let me tell you a little secret. When Bitcoin was first started, there was a gentleman called Roger Ver and a few other gentlemen that went on to America to post billboards about Bitcoin. They bought advertising space on television. They told people about Bitcoin. They used to call Roger Ver the Bitcoin evangelist. He would go all over telling people about Bitcoin. He would be announcing to people about Bitcoin. This is how Bitcoin works. Get involved, etc., etc. Here's a little secret about Bitcoin Vault. Bitcoin Vault has not implemented its marketing strategy just yet. That marketing strategy is only going to be implemented at the end of 2020. That's when the world will know about Bitcoin Vault. That's when the marketing will, and we all know once you market a product, what happens? People buy into it. So right now, we're in the early stages of Bitcoin Vault. We're in the beginning stages. Remember, when Bitcoin started being marketed and people started knowing more about it, that's when the price started increasing. I mean, today we haven't heard any journalists call us and say, can we discuss Bitcoin Vault? It hasn't even gotten out there towards the people. What's going to happen? It's going to get to a point where Bitcoin got to, where people know about it, where articles are written about it, where people speak about it. And when it does get to that point, you need to have secured as many of them as you possibly can secure. Hear me very well. A lot of people say their biggest regret is ever selling Bitcoin when they first had it in the beginning. Don't let that be your regret with Bitcoin Vault. Make sure that you've stored, make sure that you're mining, make sure that you're creating as many of them as possible. Because there'll come a time when it will launch and the whole world will know about it. And when that time comes, I'm telling you now, the price of it will go higher and higher and higher. And it's testament. Even those that have started already, they can tell you that they've benefited so immensely from it. In the third quarter of it, we're going to see additional key integrations into it. We're going to see more parties come involved. And we're going to even see more companies mine Bitcoin. It's not only going to be mining it. We're going to see other companies come up and mine Bitcoin. But when that happens, you need to make sure that you've collected as many Bitcoins as possible. Why? Because the price is going to boom. Now, one person asked me the question to say, when Bitcoin Vault was launched, how much was it launched at? Like anything else in the world, everything starts at zero and it continues going up. So at some point, it was at zero. Where is it today? It's now at $435. People always say to me, Bitcoin is far too high. If it's at 190,000 or 180,000, it's too high. And I say to them, even if it was still low, you still would not buy. So why are you complaining? Right now is the best time for you to get involved because it's still at infancy stage. It's still at beginning stage. It hasn't even gotten to its peak. It's not even a year old. It's still a baby. Yet it's grown to this high level. I was looking at it the other day when I looked at CoinMarketCap and I saw what is the return on investment? So there's a term that is used in the investment world called ROI, which means return on investment. I was looking at it and I said, what is the return on investment on investing in Bitcoin Vault? It's currently sitting at 1,700%. That's your return on investment when you invest in Bitcoin Vault. Let that sink in for a little bit. 1,700%. And this is the beauty and the opportunity that we have with us today. We get the opportunity to know about this at a very young age. We get the opportunity to know about this if you're a young person at a very early stage when it's starting. You know, I saw a picture the other day of that Mining City posted on one of their social media pages of old Chinese women in Japan, you know, in Hong Kong, in Tokyo, holding up the Mining City flag. And I said, these old people are getting involved in something that's going to allow them to gain enough money, even in their old age, which is very, very important because in today's world, so many things have crashed. People who invested their pensions into Cecil, you know, when the oil price crashed, they crashed. I was saying to somebody, I said to them the other day, I said to them, we who trust in property. I used to be one of those people that used to say, you can never go wrong in property. You know, until I invested in student accommodation. I'm quite big on student accommodation. I've got a lot of student accommodation that I've invested in. From the month of April up until today, I haven't received one rental from any student accommodation. Because all the students evacuated, they all went home and they're all not paying. So I'm sitting with student accommodation that's currently empty. So when the world is not making sense, when ways of making money that we know in the world are no longer making sense, we've got this opportunity that allows us to jump on that makes sense. That's making money all around the world. When governments, somebody was saying the other day, they were saying that, you know, what's going on in the world right now is very scary because it's not only South Africa. Every single government in the world is going out there to loan more money to deal with coronavirus. They're going to seek for more money. You know, companies are closing down. People are being retrenched. People are losing their jobs. What's going out there in the world has become very scary. And I was sharing yesterday with a group of people that I'm mentoring. I was sharing yesterday and I was saying that whenever there is pain, always look for the potential. Wherever there's pain, always look for the potential. Because what I know about pain, what I've studied about pain, is that there's always potential in pain. Two people can be feeling the same type of pain. Two people could have lost their jobs during coronavirus. One will take advantage of the opportunity before them. The other will continue to feel the pain. And you know, society has taught us to become so good at listening to the pain, at feeling the pain, at voicing the pain, going onto social media every day and complaining that so many deaths have happened, so many people have lost their jobs, that we now feel the pain. We make songs about the pain. You know, we have meetings about the pain. We're discussing the pain. But a few people will be sitting back and planning and saying, what is the potential in this pain? How do I spot the potential? And today I've showed you the potential that's there. A friend of mine said to me, Mpo, what are you busy with these days? I said, I'm collecting as many Bitcoin Vault as possible. That's what I'm doing. From the moment I wake up till I go to bed at night, I'm collecting Bitcoin Vault. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. I'm canceling all other meetings, all other businesses. I've said, put them on stop, put them on hold. I know that this opportunity will not always be there. So for now, I'm collecting. I am becoming very, 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 very aggressive at collecting Bitcoin Vault. Why? Because I collected Bitcoins and I know where that placed me. It placed me 10 years ahead of my generation. It placed me so, you know, I always say the other day, I was telling somebody, I was saying that people my age are just people who have started working, you know, they've entered the workforce. They are now buying their first car, you know, they are posting their first car. And I always say to them that at the age of 21, I bought 16 cars. 16. I put 14 of them on Uber. The other ones, I decided, let me drive them. So when somebody says to me, you know, I've bought my first car, I say congratulations, but inside I know that for me, and this is why I say to people that cars cannot excite me because I've bought too many of them. Why? Because I took advantage of opportunity at the right time. I took advantage of Bitcoin at its beginning stages. I took advantage of it and I made sure to collect as many as possible. And I'm sharing this opportunity with you today. It won't always be like this. We won't always have this gap. Can you imagine when it's now mass marketed and marketed all over the world, what's going to happen? When we reach the end of the year and it's now being marketed all over, what's going to happen? So take advantage of this opportunity. Take advantage of it now. And this is how wealth is created. This is how wealth is created. You take advantage of it. You take action, immediate action. You don't wait for other things. You take immediate action. Somebody said to me the other day, they said to me, Mpo, I would expect that you're very comfortable because you have Bitcoins and you've done well with Bitcoin. I said to them, no, I cannot be very comfortable. I cannot be very comfortable when I'm seeing people make something out of Bitcoin Vault. Am I dumping my Bitcoin? No, I still got my Bitcoin. One of my accounts is still mining Bitcoin. But on the side, I'm also mining Bitcoin Vault. Why? Because I understand that value continues to change. Value continues to move. The best way to explain it to you is to say to you that in the early 2000s, the 1990s, early 2000s, when you are buying property, people would say to you, buy property in America, buy property in Australia. That's where property is very expensive. That's where you'll make a lot of money in your property. If you're buying property there, if you're buying property in New York, you'll become very rich. If you buy property in Sandton, you'll become very rich, Come around 2010, 2011, the trend moved completely. People said, don't buy property in America because the American property market has crashed completely. Buy property in Dubai. Now I ask you, what has happened? Were the investors who bought property in America supposed to stay in America and leave the money there in America, even though they could see that there was not fast enough growth in America? No, of course not. The biggest property groups then moved and said, you know what? Money's moved to Dubai. We're all going to build in Dubai. They built the biggest building. The tallest building in the world is in Dubai. Why? Because value moved there. That's how money continues to move. You spot an opportunity, you go in, you make the money. You spot an opportunity, you go in, you make the money. You spot an opportunity early, you go in, you make the money. That's how wealth is built. That's how nations have built money. And talking about Dubai, I was listening to the Crown Prince of Dubai. He was speaking, something very interesting. A lot of people usually say to me, where do you get your inspiration from? And I always say, whenever I speak, I always want to share a bit about where I get my inspiration from. I was listening to the Crown Prince of Dubai. He's a bit like the mayor of Dubai or the head of Dubai, And he was speaking and they were asking him, what are you planning? What's the next thing you're doing for Dubai, And he said that what I've done is I've done my numbers. I've said that 100 people will move from Africa to Dubai. I've said that, 100 million people will move from Africa to Dubai. I've said that this many people will move from... And I was listening to him and I'm like, what does this man mean that will move from Africa to Dubai? What does he mean when he says 100 million people will leave Africa and come to Dubai? And guess what his plans are? He said, I'm building huge buildings for the people that will move from Africa to Dubai. I said, why are you doing this? He said, because we understand that we're positioning Dubai to be the best place in the world. When a South African child is dreaming, they want to dream of living in Dubai. Hence, when he's building those huge hotels, when he's building those resorts, he's building them for the people that are going to move from Africa and come to Dubai. And I thought, this is my level of thinking. This is how I should be thinking. I should be thinking for the next generation to say, how do I build this wealth for the next? This man is thinking like this. Imagine, this is the president or the mayor or whatever you want to call it. In there, they call it differently, of Dubai. He's thinking in that way. He's thinking for you and your children. He's building for you and your children. And remember what he's thinking. He's thinking when they come to Dubai, they're going to rent. What is he getting? Rental income. How does he know that you move to Dubai? He's already got his stuff set in place, And when I listened to this man, I was so inspired to say, this is a next level of thinking where you plan even for other children that have not been born yet. There is a wealthy man out there who's planning for your children. The best thing that you can do is to plan for your own children, to say, already he's got his plans in place. He's already building the building in Dubai. What are your plans? What are you planning for your children? How are you going to circumvent for those plans? When I heard his plans, I said, there's no way 100 million people are going to move from Africa. I'm going to build my own thing here as well. I'm not competing with him. The next move, I'm listening to him think. When he was describing this, he wasn't even dramatic. He said, it's a numbers game, You take 100 million people from Africa, you take this many people, and you build and they'll come. And I listened to him and I said, if this man is thinking like this, this is how I need to think. So I sit down and I watch those things. I sit down and I watch these things, and I watch very closely to see, how does greatness work? This man is building and people have not even arrived. People have not even arrived. Some of the children have not even been born. He's already got them thinking. He's already planning for them. He's thinking long term. And this is the type of thinking you need to start getting yourself into if you want to grow wealth. You know, Olivia positioned this very, she said this is a wealth seminar, that we're speaking about how do you grow wealth. It starts with your thinking. How are you thinking? You know, gone are the days where we think about making money and making money for buying yourself a car. No, that's not enough. How do you plan for generations to come? How do you plan for those in the future? What are your thoughts about them? There are men out there that are planning for those things. You know, I was reading the other day about Elon Musk, who said that he envisions a world where everybody will be using solar power to power their vehicles, to power their houses. He's planning for the future. This is a man with a vision. And this is the driving force, ladies and gentlemen. Put a strong vision before you. Stop this thing of thinking all I want to do is, you know, just pay off my bond and buy myself a X5 and pay off my school fees. That's small thinking. Think big. How do I influence so that even those that come after me, my children, they will know that I once lived? Can you imagine the son of the Crown Prince of Dubai, when he wakes up one day, he knows, when he wakes up, his father tells him, when he asks his dad, Dad, what are you doing? His dad says, I am building for the African children. Why? Because I know that in the vision that I have, and the vision is so big, it accommodates other people as well. Can you imagine how his son or daughter will start thinking when they grow up? They'll start saying, when my dad thinks, he thinks in terms of vision, he thinks in terms of many nations in one. That's the way that he thinks. He thinks in terms of nations. He doesn't think in terms of, and if you look at the numbers of people that are migrating to Dubai, the numbers are shocking. So many people are moving there. Why? There is a man who is thinking on their behalf. He's decided for them that this is where they'll stay. This is what they'll do for entertainment. This is where they'll spend their money. And as he does this, what's going on? He's becoming richer and richer and richer and richer. Why? It's his thinking. It's his thinking. So as we do this, as we invest as black people, you know, as young people, if there are young people on the Zoom, we are expanding our thinking. We are opening up our faculties. We are no longer just thinking about buying a car to spin in. I always say that young people that think about just cars, you know, there's nothing wrong with liking cars. There's nothing wrong with it. Buy the cars. I mean, one of my first car, when I got my first million, I bought a Golf 7. You know, because that's what every young person wanted. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But don't stop there. Don't stop there. Think bigger. How do you influence the world? How do you take this thing to the next level? I was telling somebody the other day, I said that, you know, it doesn't make me very happy whenever I see young African children sort of begging, you know. It's like after university, you become a beggar for a job. You know, everywhere you are begging, hey, please employ me, hey, please. I said, this thing doesn't make me happy. Because when we look around the world, that's not what the rest of them are doing. When the young people come out of university, they are thinking big. They are creating things that even you will be using. The same platform we are using is something that someone has created for us to use. So as we think about wealth, that's how we think. We think bigger. We think even a bigger level. How do I take this thing to the next level? You know, I was saying to somebody, I said, I can't wait to see one young person from Olivia's team saying to Olivia, Olivia, how much are you making? I want to make this amount that you're making. With boldness. Asking her, how do we do it? You know, when Olivia says that we've got a Zoom meeting, we've got a training, you are there in the training, you're learning. I released a video about mentorship this week. The fastest way for you to go up is to get a mentor. It's the fastest way. It's the fastest way. In this business, if you don't have a mentor, you won't be able to make it. Making sure that you're listening to your mentors, taking heed, asking them, how are they doing it? Because they are always so sharing. They are always so sharing. You know, whenever Olivia invites me to these sessions, I always think she has you in mind, the team members of a team, in mind to say, I want my team members to hear from the best. I want them to hear. Yesterday, she attended my Zoom meeting with my team, and as she was listening, she said, I'm here to listen so that I can go out there and give to my team as well, learn even more. And what type of leadership do you have that's there, that's always making sure that you are ready and you know from the best? So take this opportunity that's lying before you. Take it with both hands and run with it. And if you're not running with it, please note that I am running with it as fast as I can. as fast as I can. I'm not stopping for it. I'm running with it as fast as I possibly can. Because I understand the opportunity that we've got is time sensitive. That this opportunity that we have on hand is very time sensitive. We've gone over time, but that's what I wanted to share with everybody today. So go back to the person who invited you to this session and ask them, how do I get involved? How do I get started? And let's invest for the future and become very wealthy as Africans, as black people, as young people, as women in this country. Let's become very wealthy. Let's build this wealth together. Thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in and everybody who's shared this. I highly appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mpho. This was life-altering. We just want to keep on hearing more and more from you. But unfortunately, we just had an hour, guys, and we are definitely going to invite you again. I'm sure next time when you come, I think we will need you to speak more on cryptocurrency mining. Today, I'm so happy with the information that you've shared about Bitcoin Vault. Unfortunately, our time was limited, but thank you so much, Mpho, for coming. Panelists, please unmute yourselves and just thank Mpho on behalf of the rest of the team. We've got the team from West Africa.